Good morning. It's been a while, so I really need to get back to a good schedule, and I'm sure you do too. So we're gonna try this morning yoga again. I'm gonna try and do some more videos and stuff, and maybe we'll just try a few mornings of scheduled yoga just to, keep me on track, right? Today, I wanted to talk about something that I call micro movements. So micro movements to me are something that you make a very, very tiny, tiny movement in your body, and it drastically changes the way your body responds to itself, the way things feel, your balance, your stability. Even the smallest little thing can change all of that. So just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about, we're going to practice one of the most simple things that we can. We're going to practice sitting still. Now, as we know in yoga, sitting still, among everything else, is still working. So we still want our body to be working. We want to remember to breathe into our belly. Turn a little bit more this way. Breathe into our belly, not our chest. So we don't want to see shoulders and chest moving. You want your belly to be moving in and out. So when we're doing our just plain old sitting still, we want our legs crossed. And the goal here in every pose, because everybody is different, is to be your most comfortable, your most stable, and to feel the most work while you're doing this in the right place. So while we're sitting still, we want to cross our legs and try a different position with our legs. So a small micro movement that you can make here is simply to just move yourself a little farther away from your legs. We tend to, when we cross our legs, tuck them in really, really far. Try just moving yourself a little bit farther out, see how that feels. And you want to see exactly where is the most stable feeling for you. For me, this is a little too close. I feel like I'm sitting on the front of my bum instead of the middle of my bum. So I'm going to move myself back a little more and get comfy here. When we're sitting up, we want to make sure that our back is straight. But a straight back can mean a bunch of different things. If you find yourself sitting forward with your back still straight, maybe you want to try sitting up a little bit, sitting back a little bit further, seeing exactly how stable you feel in each of those different positions. Personally, myself, I don't feel very stable sitting forward like this. I feel like I'm stressing my lower back. I feel like I'm stressing my shoulder blades. So I tend to remind myself to sit back a little bit more. Your shoulders, you want to make sure your shoulders are back and down. We don't want to be crunching our shoulders forward. We don't want to be lifting them up to our ears. We want to make sure that they're down. So even the slightest bit of change from this, which is a little bit slumped, to this. You see there's the tiniest bit of movement, and it feels like it has changed the entire alignment of my back, because it has. So from here, I feel kind of loose around the top of my shoulder blades, and a little bit of stress in the bottom here, because really, I'm actually a tiny bit hunched, right? When I push my shoulders back, I've done nothing to change the shape of my back, but I feel all the muscles engaging differently, and the stress is lifting from here, and I'm feeling it work more up here, which is a good thing. Sometimes we want to pay attention to our head. Now, when we're doing balance poses, standing poses, anything like that, you want to make sure you're not moving your head. That's not something you want to do movement with, because you'll lose your balance. You want to just kind of focus on one thing. But when we're doing sitting poses, we can change the movement of our head. And for some movements, if you just tuck your chin in a tiny little bit, you completely change the way the muscles are pulling. So in some poses, if you have your head straight, you're going to feel nice and straight and in place and unstressed. Tuck your chin a little bit, and you're going to get a stretch in every muscle down the back from here to the bottom of your feet if you're standing. So sometimes you want to just, in the position that you're in, try tucking your chin a little bit, see how it feels. Does it feel better? Does it feel good? Does it feel more stable? Does it feel stressful? Do you feel stress now coming through the middle of your back or the bottom of your back? Do you feel unstable? Then don't do it. Lift it up a little bit more. Try lifting up just a tiny little bit. See what happens. Remember to breathe into your belly the whole time. And we want to make sure that we're breathing in and out both from our nose, because that's going to help regulate the speed of our breath. If you find yourself breathing through your mouth and you notice it and you close your mouth and you're having trouble getting enough air through your nose, you need to stop. You need to rest. You need to find a rest position like this where you can still be working without actually bringing your heart rate up too high. And that's perfectly fine. If ever you find yourself in that position, you come back to a rest position like cross-legged sit, like child's pose, complete supine, just laying on your back, whatever's closest to what you're already doing. If you're doing standing poses, you can stand in Tadasana and give a good rest. So when you're doing different poses, think about how you can use micro movements to change your stability and to change your balance and to change which muscles are stretching, and find the one that works the best for you. So if we're doing a down dog, we have to make sure that we're tilting our pelvis up, pushing our heels down. And this is where a nice chin tuck for me feels really good. I make the tiniest little bit of a chin tuck, and I can feel a really nice stretch down my hamstrings and even into my shoulders. If I bring my head up a little bit more, it lessens. Tuck my head just a tiny bit like this. And it feels really nice. I feel really stable, and I really enjoy that stretch in a lot of our movements. When we're standing in Tadasana, and we want to have our shoulders down and back, and we want to be squeezing our bum in so that we're nice and straight. Little bit of movement could mean simply bringing your feet a little farther apart, bringing your feet a little bit closer together. You might feel more stable. While you're flexing these muscles, you might feel like you're trying to pull your legs together a bit, so you want to move them out a little bit. And then it feels an awful lot more stable. You want to make sure that your shoulders again are down and back, and you're not arching your back like this. No arching. No bending forward. You want to get that perfect spot where your shoulders are in the right place, where your chin is in the right place, where you feel the most stable, where you feel like a tree, even not in tree pose. So while we're going through practice, always be mindful of the little movements that you can make to make everything come together a little bit nicer, to make things more stable, to prevent injuries, and to get that perfect work, the most efficient work out of all your muscles if you get in just the right spot. Keep practicing. I'll see you tomorrow.